Hello guys, and we are back again with another video. So this is Robert Greene talking about plan all the way to the end. That's the title. So he's talking about planning all the way to the end. So plan all the way to the end. Let's just start.
A vision is concrete. It's real, it's tangible, you can feel it, you can smell it. And there's a big difference, right? When the brain has something tangible and real, an object in its mind, it operates much better than if it's just like this kind of weird abstract idea that's so vague, it's hard to kind of really think of what it will be. So planning is beginning with that vision. When I was younger, I had the sad fate of life of actually working in Hollywood. And a film set is like a battlefield. It's total chaos. People are yelling and screaming. There's all this ego, there's all this money, 10 million, 20, $50 million at stake. You know, the actors have their ego, the producers have their ego, the directors have their ego. And it's madness, right? Since everyone's yelling. Well, there was this film director out there, my favorite film director.
Alfred Cook.
His name was Alfred Hitchcock.
Alfred Hitchcock.
Very big. Okay, you older people know that. Anyway, Hitchcock was weird, right? He would sit there behind the camera and he would look completely bored. In fact, he was falling asleep. In fact, they would even hear him snoring as he sat behind the camera. He was so calm that people nicknamed him the Buddha. What was the source of his calmness? Well, the source of his calmness was that he had planned every single thing out before he ever got on before the camera. He began with a vision, an image of the film he was going to create. Literally an image of what the whole thing would be like, kind of what we call a gestalt. And he thought, this is what the film will be. He thought, this is how the film is going to affect people. It's going to make them terrified. It's going to make them laugh, whatever it is. And with that vision very clear in his head, he worked backwards. He goes, what are the sets that I need that will have the effect? What are the costumes that I need? What are the colors that I need? How should this film be edited? What are the actors that I need? What are the problems that are going to come on? What is this whiny little egotistical actor going to come complaining about in the middle of the film, and how will I answer it? He had an answer for everything, okay? He even had this trick where he knew that the producer would come on set and go, Mr. Hitchcock, we're wasting too much money. I think you need to film the scene the following way. He'd go, okay, yes, you're right, Mr. Producer, I agree. He would tell the cameraman to go film it that way, and there wouldn't be any film in the camera, right? So he had foreseen everything. And in the end, his film came out, and nothing in your life, nothing you plan will ever be 100% as you imagine. Usually it's like 5%. His films were like 20, 40, 50%, which made him great, which made him have his career that's long, extremely long. So that's planning for you. Now I know that word planning sounds really boring. It sounds like taxes or I don't know what else. But actually, planning is the most exciting, should be the most exciting thing in the world. I don't think you understand really what planning is. I'm not criticizing you, most people don't. Planning begins with a vision, an image. That's the best way people plan. Like he had a vision of the film. When Thomas Edison invented the electric light, he had an image in his head of the whole city of New York being lit. Henry Ford had an image in his head of what the assembly line would look like. Albert Einstein had an image in his head of a man racing ahead at the speed of light, right? Steve Jobs had an image in his head of the iPad, of an object that you would have in your hand, the feel of it, how amazing it would be, had all that power. At the time it was just the iPod music, just in the palm of your hand. That's why they call people visionaries. It's not when you plan, it's not like you have an idea. An idea is abstract. A vision is concrete. It's real, it's tangible, you can feel it, you can smell it. And there's a big difference, right? When the brain has something tangible and real, an object in its mind, It operates much better than if it's just like this kind of weird abstract idea that's so vague, it's hard to kind of really think of what it will be. So planning is beginning with that vision. The other thing about planning is it has to be outer focused. So much of the time when you have a project, you're thinking of yourself. Man, I have some great idea. People are gonna love it. And you're just in your head and you're planning center. But real planning is out in the world. You're thinking of the effect you're gonna have on people's psychology, like Hitchcock had. You're thinking about the audience, you're thinking about your customers, thinking about your clients. You're dealing with the real world, not the little imaginary wishes inside of your head. And once you have hold of that brilliant vision, that image, of course, then you work backward. Then you think of all the steps that are going to help you get that way, point by point by point. I tell people in my consulting to have people in your office whose only job is to think of all the things that can go wrong, all of the unintended consequences. You can't believe that in this world of social media, how stupid some people can be by putting out something that's going to offend people. We see about it every day. Don't you realize that your little post here is going to be seen by millions of people, that you're going to embarrass yourself, that you're going to destroy your reputation, your company? You need people there who are going to think about all of these bad things that you're possibly going to do, all of the potential consequences. This kind of complete vision, this kind of planning, will transform you into Alfred Hitchcock, not literally, but you will be a Buddha. You will be calm. So when things come up, as they inevitably do, most people react and get all emotional. They get trapped in what I call tactical hell. And tactical hell means you're always reacting to what's going on in the world. You're never lifting your head up above the battlefield and seeing the larger strategy. You're just constantly reacting. So you had a plan, this unforeseen thing comes up, and you go, damn it, you better deal with it. And you suddenly lose the direction that you were headed on. Abraham Lincoln, our greatest president, who was a total person, a great visionary and planner, he compared it to navigating a ship. You know where your destination is, you know that port, things come up, the weather changes. You don't suddenly head west when you're heading north. You tack with the wind, you change here. You keep heading towards that destination, that port that you were headed at. And so that's what true planning brings you. It brings you that calmness. And you know, today, we are all suffering from short-term thinking. I've dealt with it myself. I've been on the board of directors of a publicly traded company, which I'll talk about later. I've seen that short-term thinking. It's a disease. It's like the quarterly report. I've got to meet this goal in 3 months, et cetera, et cetera. Nobody ever lifts their head above and says, this is where we're going. This is where America, as a politician, this is where America will be in 3 years, 4 years. But it was just reacting. They're trapped in tactical hell. Planning is the way to get you out of that, to get you into what I call strategic heaven, where your brain is above all of that. So, my telling you this today is to say that when you plan correctly, you create that momentum. Obstacles come, you sail past them. It's not an ugly thing. It's one of the most glorious powers the human brain has, our executive function, that the brain was meant for. And it's where your most creativity will come into play. When I write a book, it's my planning that allows me to write the book, right? Okay, so think of that vision and think of your planning as something that is a high art that you want, and that it's actually very enjoyable.
So we've come to the end of this video. I hope you learned something, and I hope you felt empowered, or you just learned something. That's basically what we are here to do, is to learn. So without further to say, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and also turn on the notification bell icon so that any video that I post, you will be the first to get it. Turn on the notification bell icon so that any video that I post, you will be the first to get it. Adios amigos, bye.